Hey, I'm Vernon Felton. I'm a senior editor of Bike Magazine, and we're in the Kingdom Trails in East Burke, Vermont. Today we're checking out Cannondale's new trail bike, the Habit Carbon SE. There are actually 12 of these new Habit bikes, and they range in price from just below $2,000 to all the way above $12,000. This is sort of in the middle of the range. It's $4,800. Has a carbon fiber front triangle, aluminum rear end, SRAM X1 1x drivetrain, SRAM guide brakes, a bunch of really cool stuff. But I guess we should talk a little bit about what this thing is. Cannondale sees this as a bike for everybody. Most of these bikes have 120 travel front and rear for the Habits. This one's a little rowdier, has 130 travel, fork up front, little beefier tires, kind shock, Lev Integra dropper post. What did this feel like to you guys out on the trail? Is this an all-purpose bike that's going to do everything?
No.
Is there such a thing?
No, I don't think there's such a thing.
Good point.
But no, there were plenty of things that it couldn't do. I mean, but the things that it could do, I had tons of fun doing.
Which were?
Okay, it's relatively light, 28.4 pounds or so. Yep. And 650B wheels. So it has the components to something that's fun and whippable and playful, and that's what I like to do. And you get on a bike that's got flex stays, it's got a Lefty, it's that light. You don't really expect it to be a whole lot of fun, but I had fun on it.
We're talking confirmation bias again.
Yeah.
So I got on it and I spent the first part of the ride forgetting it had 27.5-inch wheels. I was having a moment thinking that I was riding a longish 29-inch cross-country bike.
Yeah,
I can relate. Bear with me for a second. Bear with me for a second. Again, like Travis had mentioned, the FlexStay type rear suspension.
So no pivots in the rear end.
Right. It's a solid aluminum rear triangle that the seat stays flex a teeny bit to deal with the difference in arcs between the link and the swing arm, right, as they move through their travel. And I've for a long time had some criticism of that as a suspension.
They've been doing this since the Scalpel wave of that.
Right, but lots of other companies have done this. It's been used for a number of reasons for a long time. You can get a really good stiff rear triangle that way.
Right.
It eliminates moving parts. But sometimes it creates, it seems like it's not as sophisticated as some other designs that are out there. A lot of the multi-link, like a Horse Link or a VPP or a DW Link kind of bike. This thing was really, I was surprised. It was really supple over small bumps, which is why I thought it was thinking I was on a 29-inch wheel bike. Because it was sort of just like sucking up all the little trail chatter really nicely. And then the suspension worked better than I thought it was gonna.
I had my issues with rear suspension, and again, it may have been that I went into it knowing that there was an aluminum spring somewhere in the motion of that rear shock moving, but I had a hard time getting through all the travel on it.
I did too. Yeah.
So
it just rammed up a lot towards the end.
At 30% sag, I could not get that bike to bottom out, and I was trying hard.
Wow.
I ran 35 and wasn't happening.
So did you guys wind up feeling like, I didn't feel like I was getting, was it one of those like, this is a drag, I'm not getting full suspension? Or did you think, well, I could really push this thing and maybe go really rowdy with it and not bottom out? I mean, there's like two sides of that,
yes,
right?
there's that. And there are other bikes that have been here on this that I use that exact argument. Like, you could probably hit stuff really hard with this and get away with it.
This has got the Lefty 2.0 PBR fork on it. What did you think about it? Well, it sounds like you had an issue with it.
You're talking, we have to compare this fork at this price point up against Pikes and Fox 34s.
Yeah.
And in that instance, I don't think it is superior to any of them. I can't really tell if it's stiffer or not. It might be, their data says it is. But in terms of bump compliance and shock absorption, I don't think it's any better. And with those other forks, you don't have to turn your bike upside down to put air in it or any of that kind of stuff that you do with this. I'm not a huge fan of the Lefty. I think this bike is a good bike, and I think it would be better with a different fork.
I think the Lefty's here to stay. I mean, it seems like every time that a Lefty bike comes across the table, we talk about the Lefty.
We do.
I mean, and it's just it's not going anywhere. It's proven. It's different. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just it's a different way to do things. It runs. It has these advantages like running on roller bearings. You know, I mean, the things that really make a lot of sense. And the fact that that none of us are pointing to it and saying this is not as stiff. Like, we can't say definitively that it does not behave as well as the competition that it.
And we know it's stiff. We just don't know if it's stiff.
But I don't know. I'd be willing to say in terms of bump compliance that I don't think it does feel as good as a Fox 34 or a Pike.
It is a really stout fork. It is not a weird, disorienting feeling when you're riding on the bike. All that kind of stuff that people say, I could never ride one of those things. I think that's BS. I think the question is it an upgrade over a bunch of really good forks out there?
And in that, we have to look at this in terms of the whole price of the bike and the parts that come on it. So, once more for the studio audience.
Absolutely. SRAM X1, one by drivetrain.
Right.
SRAM guide brakes. WTB I-23 frequency race wheel set, nice and light. Kind shock lev Integra dropper post. Good stuff. Vauxhall Monarch rear shock.
Yep.
You know, I mean,
It's debonair, isn't it?
debonair.
Yep.
It's got a good kit. And to my knowledge, I look at it and I don't see a weak point on it. I'm with you
And
guys.
then it's at 40...
$4,800.
$4,800. So I can't really complain about any of that. I mean, it hits the price of value for money really well, and it comes down to what you think about how that bike rides. In terms of what you're getting for your dollar, it is very competitively priced.
Hey, so there you have it. If you want to know more about the new Habit bike, you can go check out Bike's Bible Bike Test issue. If you want to see more bike test videos, go to bikemag.com.